Good morning and welcome to our Friday show. On the mark, myself and Shaheel here. We're going to go through this quite a tricky card. Tough race, all the races, 10 runners. Just to let you know before we kick off, race 3 there has been a scratching. Zodiac Jack has been taken out, and you can bring in Perfect Pursuit. Can't remember exactly who the jockey was, but I'm sure by the time you watch this show you'll know that Zodiac Jack has been withdrawn. Right, let's start off with race 1. It's off at 1 o'clock. It's a 1400 meter rating, 0.20. Once again, 0.20 is tough to start off the day with, especially if you are a pick 8 player. Remember, I would imagine this pool's going to be way over 7 million, 8 million.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. You know, I don't mind. I actually did some mathematics. I'm not bad with maths, and I did a bit of mathematics, and even sort of 1% or 2% of 8 million. You know, it's going to, what, it's 80,000 or 160,000 if you take 2%. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a massive field tomorrow, and just take a very small percentage, and hopefully that arrives.
Good luck with that, because racing is really tough.
It is a really tough race. All races, 10 runners, and it is a tough card. Let's start off with race 1. Number 5, Anza Borrego. He looks like the right horse. He's at 2 seconds now to Dark Force. Well, in fact, he won last time. My only concern is I can't understand. They took the blinkers off last time. Yeah. He hung in very badly, this horse, and I just under the opinion that if he had blinkers and he couldn't see the other horse, he probably would have gone straight. Right. So I did speak to Praveen after that particular race, and he said that when he's got blinkers on, he doesn't pass a horse. But I don't know. I mean, that's why we put blinkers on, so they don't see other horses. But looks like his form is. I mean, he looks like he's ready to win, and especially in a field like this, it's not a strong race. And as usual, the 0.20s never are. And I suppose you've got to give him a big chance. One horse that sort of stood out to me is number 4, Sir Capers, and he was one of my 2 to follows when he ran second to Play Another Tune. And unfortunately, he hasn't really done much since then. He's run a couple of places, but drawn to. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Imran Chisti dropped his stick last time. Yes. And, you know, I reckon that this was in this field must be a big runner. So Sir Capers, I'll definitely give him a chance. My third choice before I hand over to Shaheel will be number 10, Vintage Angel. He will be drawn 9 now, obviously, with the emergency acceptor coming out. And I see Simon Jones has tried the pricker with him. I remember last time as well, hanging very badly when Silver Rock beat him. In fact, I think had he gone straight, he probably would have won that on that particular occasion. He jumped from draw 9 last time. Once again, he's jumping from that draw. Came from off the field last time, off the pace. So maybe the draw not a big issue, but obviously you'd prefer a little bit of a better draw. So Anza Borrego, Sir Capers, keep an eye on him. I think that he's a little bit better than what he's a little bit better than 0.20. He's been running in 0.25 and some decent races behind Play Another Tune and Superstitious, and obviously that's a lot stronger than what this race is bringing out. So, so Anza Borrego, Sir Capers, Vintage Angel.
Yeah, I do think these 3 horses stands out for me too. Anza Borrego, like you said, demoted last time, but he should probably be the best horse in the field. 0.20 is his division. I'm just worried that he's running a bit too often. He's running each and every 3 or 2 weeks, so probably that could affect him. So I'll go with Sir Capers actually for the reasons that you mentioned. That second to Play Another Tune was a really good one. He's run against the like of Cyber Special, even Superstitious. So that's very good for him. It's his first time in 0.20. He's drawn 2, Shaheel Ayadassen on board. I'm sure Sir Capers is going to be right there. Like you said, Vintage Angel, he hung in really badly last time. And this time, hopefully, the prickers will help him go straight. I see that Simon Jones has gone for an informed jockey in Kernsley Ransami. I reckon he's going to have to be the draw, though. But for the traffic, I agree with you with the 3 horses, Sir Capers, Anza Borrego, and Vintage Angel.
Okay. All right, let's move over to race 2, the Radio 1 Foundation Cup, 1450 benchmark 31, and I've gone with number 9, Tyrandius. There was a terrific debut when he ran second to Good Buddy, even though he did get beat 3 lengths, but I remember him really taking off strongly that day. He was hanging in, and on that particular, after that they decided to try the pricker with him. Maybe suffered from the second run syndrome his next start, but there was a good effort last time when he ran third to Captain Gone Wild. The pricker stays on. and he's drawn 2. Brandon Louis in the irons. I saw Brandon Louis got a couple of nice rides as Brandon
now
Louis.
that Bruno Reis is not here, he's definitely getting the best chances of now I'm stable.
Yeah, so Tyrandius, I reckon that you can sort of forgive him for that one bad run. If you take that out of the equation, he's run a good second to Good Buddy, good third to Captain Gone Wild. 2 horses that I really think a lot of. And I just think with that 2 draw, he's probably going to be in a very good position. If you have a look, he's been jumping from quite bad draws this horse, especially his 2 good runs. He was drawn 9 and then 8. This time he's drawn 2. He's going to be a lot closer. I wouldn't like to see him too close, but because he is a horse that finishes the race quite nicely. So Tyrandius, I'm going to make him my first choice. The horse to beat, obviously, I'm glad to see it doesn't matter back in a 1450. I think that a mile is a little bit too far for him, or 1650. I'm happy to see him back in a 1450. He's going to be drawn 7 with the emergency acceptor coming out. I don't think that's a problem for him. He's a horse that comes off the place, and the blinkers are back on as well, which is obviously going to help him over the 1450. And I think that he had a little bit of a tough race last time. So did Tyrandius, in fact. Both these horses had a tough race last time. Let's hope things go a little bit better. And then Sun and Sun, unfortunately, the draw. Obviously he's going to need a little bit of luck from that draw, but he's got some good form. I mean, look at the horses he's run behind. Afdik Boya, mind-blowing, bad attitude. A lot stronger than this field, but unfortunately the draw is going to make his task a lot tougher.
Exactly. I've got the same traffic there again as you. Like you said, the horses that he's run against are really decent company. I think the only option for Shaheel Ayadassen would be to bounce and go up front to overcome that draw. And if he's able to do that, he'll be a big runner in this benchmark of 31. Like you said, Tyrandius, he came back to form last time, probably suffered from that second run syndrome. He's drawn 2. If Brandon can get him into a prominent position, he should be right there after a little layoff of 1 month, and then it doesn't matter. Like you said, a good thing probably to be back over the 1450, blinkers back on. If Nuesh can settle him at the back, he will finish off really strongly.
Yeah, well, that Tyrandius with that 2 draw, if you have a look, Face the Fire, I would imagine first time out, Tyrandius will probably jump and get in front of him. And then he's probably got about 3-4 lengths to make up maximum. So I make him a big runner in the second race, Tyrandius with Brandon Louis. Let's hope he has a good day. He's a good little rider, Brandon. Right, race 3, 1450, benchmark 41. And I've gone with Brandon Louis again, Texas Sky. And like I said, he's got, well, I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but he's got some terrific rides. And like once again, let's hope he has a great day. Texas Sky, excellent run in 46 last time. When he went to the front, he runs with heart, this horse. He really fought off Editor Trail. I mean, remember the win before that? Another gutsy performance when he beat Mr. Hardy, and he's had a fight out with Afdik as well. So he's had quite a lot of fight outs, this horse, Texas Sky, but I think he's got a lot of heart. He's drawn 4. I would imagine in this race he's going to lead, and I think he's probably going to lead quite easily, because I don't see a lot else really. Kudutu's drawn right on the outside, maybe Gunston, but there's not much else either besides that. So Texas Sky, I think he's probably going to lead with Brandon Louis, and I like the way that this horse shows determination and guts, and I'm going to make him my first choice. The horses to beat, obviously Gunston. He's had 2 good runs. He's run second to Dollar Tractor. And then I see they're trying the tongue tie for him first time. I went back, I saw in South Africa he used to run with a tongue tie. So obviously that's a reason why they've used it, and they feel that he needs it. And then Boya, well, he's a tough horse to ride. I thought that he was going to come in 1 draw, but now that Zodiac Jack is scratched on his outside and Perfect Pursuit comes in, so he's not going to benefit from the draw. So he's going to stay drawn 9, and he's not an easy horse to ride. He has to be settled, this horse. Olivier Placet knows him quite well.
I'm actually going to go with Borja because this horse has been working really well for 2-3 weeks now. We've mentioned him a couple of times on Journée Gallo. I've watched an interview of the Dr. Gopal Gajda. I've seen that they've targeted this race for him now that he's back in a benchmark of 41. They didn't want to race him in 51 or 46. So this is a targeted race for him. Like you said, unfortunately, he's drawn 9. But Olivier Glass is back on board and he must have some kind of game plan. In fact, I think that this draw 9 could be a blessing in disguise because he's such a keen horses in his races. If he can get him one off, he won't pull, he won't be keen, so that could be a good thing for him. Boya obviously takes the sky, would be the big danger if he's left alone in front. Brandon can give him a super ride from the front, and he's a horse that does take a lot of catching. And Gunston to be the third choice, 2 promising run this season. He's also looking good at track work. Manuel Nunes and Sham Ho-Chen, the stable jockey in form at the moment, so definitely one horse to follow.
Yeah, Boya's last win was in the benchmark 41, so he's back down into the 41, and they'll probably be a lot more competitive. But it's going to be tough to get him to settle from that draw. Bit of luck. We could just see Boya back into the winner's enclosure. Right, race 4, 1500 meter benchmark 46. And reluctant first choice, Viking Trail for me. He's probably got the best form in the race, but he is. I thought he was quite lucky when he beat Rule the Night, and a lot of people saying he beat Rule the Night, but I thought he was pretty lucky. Last time, good second to Good Buddy. He's drawn 3. You can't fault his form. 3 runs in Mauritius, 1 win and 2 places. But I don't think he's a banker. I don't think he's sort of at those odds. I wouldn't be running down to the bookmakers to have a bet on him. He's just turned 4. He's an up-and-coming horse. I liked the way when he won, but like I said, I thought he was quite lucky to beat Rule the Night on that particular occasion. The horse that I like is the horse that I spotted in training on Tuesday, Tower of Wisdom, with those blinkers. There was a terrific run to White River last time at level weights. He's back down to the 1500. Obviously, the draw is going to be a major factor for him. I reckon if he was drawn a little bit better, I would be very, very confident about him. I'm surprised to see him at 820 rupees or 800 rupees. Terrific second to White River last time with the blinkers, just as a draw to beat in my opinion. And then Rock on Geordies, he's run 3rd to Wall Tag. There was a good second to In Your Dreams last time. Obviously he's a lot better off in the weights with In Your Dreams this time. I'm going to put him down as my 3rd choice. But Viking Trail, Tower of Wisdom, Rock on Geordies. I think Tower of Wisdom at 800 rupees. I might just have a couple of rupees on him.
Yeah, it could be a good value bet for you. I'm actually going to go with Rock on Geordies because this horse has such a strong turn of foot, and Shaheel Ayadassen gets really well along with him. He's been working well. I remember last week I did mention him on Journée Gallo. He's drawn 8, but that is not a big concern because he comes from off the pace. If the pace is on, which should be because you get the like of In Your Dreams in there, and Apollo Star, if there's a good pace up front, I'm sure Rock on Geordies is going to finish off really strongly. For second, definitely Viking Trail. That was a good run last time too. Good Buddy, he was finishing off strongly, but Good Buddy with that featherweight was just not stopping in front. He's going to be taking on his elders this time. He did take on the elders on his debut when he ran 3rd to Aftik. And then Tower of Wisdom, like you mentioned, he's going to have to beat the draw. But then again, if Nuresh can get him into a good position, one off probably somewhere quiet, he's going to finishing off really well. I don't think any of these horses can run second to White River.
Yeah, and if you go back to some of his form last year, I mean, he's run second to Crazy Vision, who's a decent horse as well. So, yeah, I really like Tower of Wisdom. He's definitely going to be my value bet of the day, number 1, Tower of Wisdom. And he was spotted on our Wednesday show, Journée Gallo, working well. I like the way he looked, and I think he's a big runner in the 4th. Right, let's move over to race 5, 1500 meter benchmark 56. What I've written on top of my page, I said the best horses are drawn bad, but there's a lot of speed in this race, and I can't help but think that the winner is going to come from off the pace in this particular race. If that is the fact, I really think that Rapid Tack's a big runner here. Change of stable, good draw, excellent run to Al Sheba, maybe 100 meters too short though. That could only be the problem. If this was a 1600, I'd be quite bullish about the chances of Rapid Tack. But you can't take away the fact that he's run behind Al Sheba, he's run behind Opera Royal. These are top horses, but obviously that was over the 1600. 100 meters might just be a little bit short for him. But I think the winner's going to come from behind. If you have a look at the horses that like to be up there, they're drawn quite badly. Lucario, And then another horse that I think that could come from behind is Mamba Rock. I know he beat Uzo last time. He's going to be a little bit worse off in the weights this time. But Uzo, like we said in the car driving, probably the unluckiest horse in Mauritius. He's had such bad luck. And then when they pulled his number out, he's drawn 10 out of 10. And he's also sort of likes to be quite handy. So the 10 draw is going to be a bit tough for him. But and then obviously Afdik. But I just think Daryl Holland is the key to Afdik. He's not an easy horse to ride. Dennis Soufel, I don't know how well he knows him, but I'm not saying Dennis Soufel won't be able to run, but I just prefer the combination of Daryl Holland on Afdik. So tough race. I reckon the winner's going to come from behind. I think if they go quick enough, which I think they will, there's quite a lot of speed in this race, and I'm going to go with Rap Attack.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with Mambo Rock. You know, he's a horse that I really like from last season. He showed that turn of foot last time, and when I was surprised to see him show that again to beat Uzo. If he reproduces the same turn of foot, like you said, the pace will be on. Definitely Mambo Rock will be right there. Uzo, from that draw, I don't think he'll be handed this time. I think the only option will have to ride him more quiet, and he's going to have to drop back. Can he come from off the pace? That remains the question mark. But one horse that definitely can come from off the pace will be Rap Attack. I've seen Manuel Nunes take a lot of time and patience with him at track work. He's always the first horse that he rides at track work every morning. So Rap Attack is definitely one horse to follow.
All right, now it's the feature race of the afternoon, the Radio 1 Trophy. It's a 1600 meter benchmark, 66. And I don't know you don't know what price Tsitsikamma Dance is? I really think that this horse is a big runner. Have a look. He got beat just under a length by a bad attitude last time. Absolutely flying. He's 3 kilograms better off. He's got 54.5 on his back. It's a horse that I've sort of been following since he's arrived here. I liked his South African form, and I think now the penny has dropped. He looks like he's ready to run a cracker. Well, he ran a cracker last time, and like I said, 3 kilograms better off bad attitude. 3 kilograms is quite a turnaround, you know, especially over 1600 meters. And Tsitsikamma Dance, once again, I'm putting all my sort of confidence on Brandon Louis. I think this is the 4th horse that I've chosen of his today for tomorrow. And I think Tsitsikamma Dance, the 3 runs, 2 places, terrific second last time behind bad attitude, absolutely flying. He's going to be my first choice. To beat the favorite, bad attitude, obviously, it's getting tougher for him now. He's looking for his 4th win in a row. But Manuel Nunes, you can never sort of put him down. And the Hirchon stable as well, they're really doing well. And I think obviously you can't ignore him, although there is a big swing in the weights with Tsitsikamma Dance. And then a little bit of an outsider, Sir Bernardini. I loved that second when he ran to Opera Royal, when he really ran a cracker that day. I honestly think that he didn't stay the 2,100 next time. If you go back to South Africa, 4-time winner, he won over 1,000, a 1,400, and twice over 1,600. I think the 2,100 was too far for him, but if he runs like he did behind Opera Royal, he's a big runner. In fact, that day he finished in front of a couple horses in this race, like ready to attack. That's one of them. And I think Sir Bernardini, if he runs like he did to Opera Royal, he's a big runner here. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with the bottom weight Tsitsikamma Dance to beat the favorite.
Yeah, it was my value bet of last time. I remember you asking me how is he going to make up that 4 grounds. I think you got your answer on the track. Listen, benchmark 66 is a little bit of a question mark, but that 54.5 kg is going to compensate for that. He's going to be flying once again at the finish. But actually I've got a little value bet in there, the number 2 Copper Force. That was a nice debut. He definitely needed the run that day. I've went to watch the race again last night. He was very keen throughout the race, and he managed to finish off the race well. He had a gross gallop on Tuesday morning, which we didn't mention on Jour de Galop because we preferred to mention the maiden gallops. Copper Force is a horse that got some excellent South African form. Just look at your card. Roy Had Enough, Rainbow Bridge, Legal Eagle. He's in fact I think he's beaten Legal Eagles once in South Africa. So Copper Force, if he reproduces that South African form, he's a massive runner in there. Bad attitude, obviously, he's completed his hat trick last time out. He's impressive in all his 3 wins. He tries the benchmark 66 for the first time. If he's good enough, he'll be right there, bad attitude, and obviously Tsitsikamma Dance will be flying at the finish.
Yep. I think he's going to be flying straight into the winner's box. All right, race 7. It's a 1600 meter benchmark 36, and in a tough race day, possibly the only banker on the card, Mr. Hardy. Drawn 6 now that the emergency acceptors come out. I don't think the draw's too much of a problem for him anyway. But I just feel that he's taking on quite a sort of mediocre field.
Yeah.
And I think that Mr. Hardy, unbelievable how well he's done. A maiden from Port Elizabeth. He I mean, he's run second to Texas Sky, Superstitious. I thought that was a terrific race when he beat Power Tower, because I rate Power Tower, especially now that he's had the blinkers on that. So, Mr. Hardy, like I said, with all due respect to the rest of the runners, I think he's taking on a weakish sort of field, and I think he's going to be quite hard to beat. He is currently even money. And maybe not a bad horse to put in one of your levy pillets or something like that, or bank in your exotics. And the horse to beat, probably Euroclodian. There was a good run last time when he went to the front. He is drawn 9, but I don't think that's a problem for him. In fact, that could be like you mentioned earlier, a blessing in disguise, because he's got quite a long way from the 1600 to the winning post to get to the front. I think he will manage to do it. He's also loves to be out in front. He loves the 1600 as well. He's won, I think 3 of his races have been over the mile, and he's a big, he's the big danger. And then Sandy Sport, if he reproduces that penultimate start when he ran behind the brass bell, I thought he was pretty unlucky that day. He was absolutely flying, and he got beat just under a length by the brass bell. I have to say that wasn't the strongest of fields either that particular day, but he's been working well, Sandy Sport as well. His training on Tuesday was pretty good, and I think he's got a chance to definitely run a place in the 7th race. But Mr. Hardy, he looks like the only possible banker on the card.
Yeah, I join you there. I also banker Mr. Hardy. I think Neisius has got the right tools for him now, because he's a horse that you have to perfectly time his run, and that's exactly what he did last time out. That was in a benchmark of 36. He remains in the same class. I think he should be too strong out here, like you said, not the strongest field. Mr. Hardy definitely for the banker. For second, Eurocladian, if he's left up front, it will take Mr. Hardy some catching for him, but I'm sure he's going to get there, Mr. Hardy. And then Jama number 9, he had some traffic problems last time out, or else he probably would have finished a lot more closer to Cyber Special. He could run into the money with Barry 2 and 56.5.
Yeah, Pravesh Aril's done quite well on this horse. I know he's never won, but I think out of the 3 places, he possibly could have ridden into 2 places. Yeah. So yeah, they get on quite well, Mr. Haril and Jama. Right, it's the 8th and lucky last. It's a 1450 rating, 0.25, and tricky races. I'll tell you why it's a tricky race, because obviously Red Indy, very unlucky last time. Pierre Stradham dropped his stick, and well, he got a lot of flack for that, amongst other rides. But yeah, there was a terrific run from a bad draw. Once again, drawn in the bush. It doesn't help that Netflix, the emergency acceptor, was drawn 11, so he's going to stay 10 out of 10. But look, the draw's not a massive issue for him. He does come from off the pace. I suppose, but my big question mark here is that there's no pace in this particular race, and 1450, no speed, not going to really suit Red Indy. I went and looked at this youngster's form. It's him. He's had 2 runs in South Africa, 2 seconds. Obviously that wasn't a race, it was a barrier trial. But he's run second to Wave, and I can't remember which order it is, but one of them has come out and won again. I don't know if I think it was Padre Pio has come out and won again. Wave has been placed in a Group 1 or in a feature race. So the form is pretty decent with It's Him. The only thing is a young horse. We don't know exactly how ready he is, how is he going to take the track. But on form, he would absolutely smash this field on his South African form. It obviously all depends on how ready It's Him is, but don't leave him out of anything. He could be anything, and he has been fancied in both his runs in South Africa. So It's Him, got some nice form. The horses that have beaten him have gone on to do better things. So you've got to respect It's Him. And then New Golden Age, while he runs second to Red Indy, he's obviously a little bit better off in the weights as well. Been following this horse for ages. Look, he's had 1 win in 9 places, and in this sort of class, he must have a bit of a chance as well. But Red Indy, probably because he's had the experience, he's going to be a reluctant first choice. But It's Him. If he's ready, if he's fit, and he's not too green, I think he'll absolutely trounce this field.
Yeah, that's what I've written down. He could be absolutely anything, this horse. Like you mentioned, he's had only the 2 career starts, and these 2 horses have gone on to do better things. I see that Ravirawa has taken a lot of time and patience with this horse at Floreal. He should be ready to make his debut, but we don't know how green he's going to be. First time at the Champ de Mars is never easy, with all the crowd and everything.
Yeah.
And I've seen Derek David said that all his newcomers will probably need the first run. So let's try to keep him for next time. I'm going to go with number 8, New Golden Age. He didn't have the easiest of race last time, but he still managed to finish only 1.5 lengths behind Flying Arrow, the runaway winner. If Kirsty Ramsamy can get him into a good position from that barrier 8, he will be running on very strongly New Golden Age. I think he'll be a lot more closer than Red Indy. And for third, I'll go with Red Indy. We don't, like I said, yet we mentioned no pace on, so we don't know how strong he's going to finish. So I'll prefer to go with number 8, New Golden Age, to beat It's Him and Red Indy.
Okay, well, there we go. That's a wrap from myself and Shaheel for our Friday show on the mark. Before we go, just put your head on a block. What's your banker and your value?
I think there's only one banker, that's Mr. Hardy. And for the value bet, probably Cup of Force, but I think he'll be better for a place bet.
Okay, all right. I'm going to go Mr. Hardy as well. He looks like he could possibly be only banker on the card. Big pick 8 tomorrow. Take a chance and banker him. Yeah. My value bets of the day is definitely...
Tower of Wisdom.
Yeah, but I don't know what price Tsitsikamma Dance is, but I think he's a massive runner tomorrow. And my other one is Tower of Wisdom at 800 rupees. I think he's definitely worth a couple of each way bets on Tower of Wisdom there. I like the way he worked on Tuesday. All right, well, that's a wrap. Like we said, we will be back next week, Wednesday, for obviously it's
for the maiden.
Big build-up for the Maiden Cup, our big race, and a very, very exciting race. That we're going to be looking forward to is the, how do you say it, Mammoth?
The Courts Mammoth Maiden Cup.
Courts Mammoth Maiden Cup. Looking forward to that. New sponsors on board. Let's hope they have a great race day. And obviously tonight as well, Waza Radio, we'll be back on air as well. And next week, Wednesday, our show will be Jeu de Gala, where we're going to be discussing a lot of the maiden runners as well. Thanks very much.